Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into something a little different? We're going to be looking at this article called Older Men Don't Realize This Attracts Younger Women. Do this to tempt her. High Value Psychology.
Oh, yeah.
I know, right? The title is a little bit much, but we're going to go deeper than that and sort of look at the psychology of attraction from both sides, not just focusing on age.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's interesting that the article goes right away into challenging a very common misconception
okay.
that older men have, which is that younger men just have a natural advantage in dating, especially like with the whole social media thing and, physical fitness and everything.
Right, it's like they think they're automatically out of the game.
Exactly.
But this article debunks that right away and says, no, it's not all about six-pack abs and going viral on TikTok.
Right.
Younger women are looking for something more.
Yeah, and they're looking for something more meaningful, like a deeper connection.
Yeah.
And I think what they really want is stability, especially like in today's world. It's like everything's crazy.
It makes sense.
So that's a powerful thing.
Yeah, it makes you think about like how your priorities change as you mature.
Absolutely.
You know, in your 20s, maybe you're looking for excitement and novelty, but then as you get older, stability becomes a much bigger deal.
Right. And that's where the concept of maturity comes in.
Okay.
And, older men have just lived longer. They've had more relationships.
More experience.
More life experience, ups and downs.
So that translates to emotional intelligence.
Exactly. They're less likely to play games or be inconsistent.
They've learned from their mistakes.
Exactly. And that's reassuring, I think, for people who might...
We're still figuring things out.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes me think about, like, those people you meet who are very emotionally mature, and they just have this sense of calm and confidence about them.
Absolutely.
And you just feel like you can rely on them.
Right.
And speaking of confidence, the article talks about how that is a major attractor.
Yeah.
But it's not like the loud in your face kind of confidence. It's something else.
It's, I think they call it quiet certainty in the article.
Okay.
Just like this inner knowing of your own worth and self-assuredness that doesn't need validation from other people.
So not peacocking.
No.
Not at all.
Not trying to prove something.
Yeah, it's more like the energy that you project when you're comfortable with yourself.
I see.
And what's really interesting is that they say that this is contagious.
What do you mean?
Like when a woman feels secure in a man's presence, she relaxes and feels more drawn to him because of that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we've got maturity, emotional intelligence, genuine confidence. These are all internal qualities.
Right?
But what about the external stuff, like how a man presents himself to the world?
Right.
Surely appearance has to play some role.
Oh, it absolutely does.
Okay.
And the article talks about this, but with a refreshing twist.
Okay.
It's not about chasing youth or trying to look 20 again.
Gotcha.
It's more about what they call refinement.
Refinement. I like that. What does that look like practically? It's like how you present yourself to the world sends a message about how you value yourself.
Okay.
So like well-fitting clothes, attention to grooming, even like a signature scent.
Wait, hold on. A signature scent?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
This is where the psychology gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because research has shown that women have a much stronger sense of smell than men. And scent can trigger very powerful memories and emotions.
Like you smell something and suddenly you're transported back to a certain time or place.
Exactly. And the article says that a fragrance can evoke feelings of warmth, comfort, even a longing.
Wow.
So it's a subtle but powerful way to make an impression.
Okay. I'm going to have to pay more attention to fragrance now.
All right.
Let's go back to this idea of emotional intelligence, though, because the article seems to suggest that older men have an advantage in this area.
They do. And that comes back to those experiences that we were talking about.
Okay.
Older men, they've probably had more complex relationships, more heartbreak, and done more personal growth work.
So they understand emotions better.
Both their own emotions and the emotions of others.
I see. So they've had more opportunities to work out those emotional muscles.
Exactly. And that allows them to be more attuned to those subtle cues in communication.
Yeah.
They can listen more actively. They can respond with empathy and navigate tough conversations better.
So it's not about being like stoic or whatever. It's about connecting on an emotional level.
Exactly.
And what's interesting is the article also stresses the importance of novelty and adventure, even for older men.
It does.
So it's not just about settling down into a routine.
No, it's about maintaining that spark and that zest for life,
Yeah, I love that.
no matter how old you are. And that ties into another point they make, which is honesty.
Okay.
Being open and transparent builds trust, and that's the foundation of any strong connection.
Right, because who wants to be with someone who's playing games or hiding their feelings?
Exactly. It's about being upfront about what you want and what you expect and having those difficult conversations maturely.
Yeah, so far we've got maturity, confidence, refinement, emotional intelligence, a sense of adventure, and honesty.
That's quite a list.
It's starting to sound like a recipe for being irresistible.
Right.
But the article also mentioned something I didn't expect. Happiness. Why would that be attractive?
Well, think about it. People are drawn to those who radiate positivity,
Okay.
who wouldn't want to be around someone who brings joy and light into their life.
Yeah, happiness can be contagious, I guess.
It really can. But I'm curious about this idea of leadership that they bring up. This seems like a loaded word,
Yeah.
but it's important to note that they're not talking about dominance or control.
Okay.
It's more about guidance and decision-making and taking responsibility.
So it's about having a sense of direction and a vision for the future.
Exactly. And that can show up in all sorts of ways, from
Mhm.
choosing a restaurant to having a moral compass.
Yeah.
It's about having that, I got this energy.
It makes sense. Now, this next one's a little harder for me to grasp. It's this concept of social proof.
Okay, so social proof is basically how other people perceive you.
Mhm.
So when you're respected by your peers, admired for your work, and valued in your community, it sends a signal that you're a high-value individual.
So it's like your reputation precedes you.
Kind of, but it's not about bragging or trying to impress people.
I see.
It's about living a life that naturally attracts respect and admiration.
Okay, and this next one might be a little controversial, but the article talks about financial stability.
Yeah,
This is one where I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about what it really means.
I agree. And the article is very clear that it's not about wealth or extravagance.
Okay.
It's about demonstrating responsibility and making sound choices, having your act together financially.
So it's more about peace of mind than showing off.
Exactly. It's about that feeling of security, knowing that someone is capable of providing for themselves and making responsible decisions.
And what's interesting is that the article also talks about the importance of independence, which seems kind of contradictory at first.
It does, but think of it this way. Financial independence is a form of personal independence. It means you're not reliant on others, and you can make your own choices.
So it's about having your own life, your own passions, your own goals,
Exactly.
and then welcoming someone into that world as an equal.
Right, not as someone who completes you or solves your problems.
That's a great point. It's about having your own thing going on.
Yeah,
And speaking of communication, that's another big one the article highlights.
absolutely. Effective communication is essential for any healthy relationship.
Of course.
And they suggest that older men, just by having more life experience, are often better at expressing themselves clearly
Yeah.
and navigating those trickier conversations.
It's like they've had more practice.
Exactly.
That-
They've learned how to articulate their thoughts and feelings authentically and in a way that people understand.
Right. I'm curious about this idea of being a mentor rather than a competitor.
Okay.
Can you elaborate on that?
It's about the difference between trying to prove yourself and genuinely wanting to help someone grow. Older men, because they've already faced many of life's challenges, are often in a position to offer valuable guidance and support.
So it's about sharing your wisdom and experience without feeling threatened.
Exactly. It's about creating a dynamic of mutual respect and encouragement.
That makes sense. Now, this next one is something I think is really important, especially in today's world, the importance of having a sense of purpose.
I love this one.
Mm,
I find people who are passionate about something so magnetic.
me too. But how does the article connect this to attraction?
They argue that women are drawn to men who have goals, ambitions, and a drive to make a difference.
So it's about having direction and a reason to get out of bed in the morning.
Exactly. And that passion can be for anything: your career, a creative pursuit, a social cause, anything that lights you up.
So it's not just about what you do, but about having that fire in your belly.
Exactly. And that energy is attractive because it shows you're engaged with life and not just going through the motions.
All right, last but not least, the article talks about patience being a powerful attractor.
yeah.
And I had to admit, this one surprised me a little.
It's true. It does seem counterintuitive in our fast-paced world where everyone wants everything right now.
Yeah, instant gratification and all that.
Exactly. But the article suggests there's something really attractive about a man who embodies patience.
Okay, I'm listening.
Patience signals maturity, trustworthiness, and emotional stability.
Makes sense.
It suggests that a man is willing to let things unfold naturally without forcing or rushing.
So it's about being present and grounded and not getting caught up in the need for immediate results.
Exactly, and that can be really reassuring in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
And it's clear that attraction goes way beyond age.
Absolutely.
It's this complex interplay of qualities, and we've only just scratched the surface.
There's a lot more to unpack.
Definitely we'll continue this conversation in our next segment, so stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive into the psychology of attraction.
Welcome back. I don't know about you, but I'm still thinking about all those insights from the first part of our deep dive.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
It really makes you realize how much we just assume things about attraction or get it totally wrong.
Absolutely.
Like that whole idea of refinement, it really stuck with me.
That's an important one. Remember, it's not about looking younger. It's about presenting the best version of yourself.
Right. It's about how you carry yourself.
Exactly.
And that thing about scent that was really unexpected.
Yeah, it really shows you how powerful our senses are.
Yeah.
And how they can totally change how we see someone. You know, there's this whole field called sensory marketing where companies use scent to influence shoppers.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's fascinating. Like a nice smell can make you associate a product with good feelings.
I can see that.
And it's kind of the same with people, right?
I guess so. It's about creating a certain atmosphere.
Yeah.
Exactly. An experience that goes beyond just what you see and scent is so primal. It's tied to our emotions and memories.
Now, another one that got me thinking was financial stability.
Yeah.
Especially in the context of dating, it's a sensitive topic.
It is, but the article makes it clear that it's not about being rich or flashy.
Right.
It's about showing you're responsible and make good decisions.
So having your finances in order.
Exactly. It's about being able to manage your money plan for the future and make those smart choices.
So it's more about peace of mind than showing off your bank account.
Precisely. It's about that feeling of security, knowing that someone can take care of themselves.
And what's interesting is they also talk about the importance of independence, which seems contradictory.
It does, but think about it this way. Financial independence is part of being independent as a person.
Okay.
It means you rely on yourself and make your own choices.
So having your own life passions, goals, all that.
Exactly.
And then bringing someone into that as an equal.
Right, not someone who completes you or fixes your problems.
It's about having your own thing going on.
Absolutely.
And speaking of communication, they highlight that too, right?
They do. Effective communication is key to any healthy relationship.
Makes sense.
And they say that older men, just because they've lived longer, are often better at expressing themselves
Right.
and dealing with those tough conversations.
Yeah, it's like they've had more practice.
Exactly. They've learned to say what they mean and how to navigate those complex emotional situations.
That makes sense now. This idea of being a mentor, not a competitor, that really stood out to me.
Still a good one.
It makes you think about all those expectations on men about proving themselves being the alpha.
Absolutely.
And this is the opposite of that.
It's about realizing that sharing your knowledge and helping someone grow is a strength,
Right?
not a weakness. And the article says this is especially attractive to younger women.
I can see that maybe because they're still figuring things out themselves.
Exactly. They appreciate that wisdom and guidance.
Yeah, it's about respect and encouraging each other.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another quality that often comes with age patience.
This one surprised me a bit, I have to admit.
It's true. Patience isn't exactly trendy these days, with everyone wanting instant gratification.
Right. We're all about that quick fix now.
But the article says patience is a powerful attractor, especially for younger women who might be used to men who are impatient.
So being calm and collected, not needing everything right this second.
Exactly. It's about being present and realizing good things take time.
It shows you're not easily rattled.
Exactly. That you can handle the ups and downs and approach things with a steady hand.
And that's important in any relationship.
Absolutely. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that's often overlooked, but so crucial, a sense of humor.
Oh, I totally agree. Laughter is so important.
It is. It brings people together, relieves stress, and makes life more fun.
And there's something about being able to laugh at yourself that shows confidence.
Absolutely. It shows you're comfortable with who you are.
Yeah, you don't need to put on a show.
Exactly. And who doesn't love being around someone who makes them laugh? It's a natural mood booster.
It's like they say laughter is the best medicine.
It really is, especially in relationships where things can get intense sometimes.
It's about finding that balance.
Right, between being serious and lighthearted, having those deep conversations, but also knowing when to just let loose and have fun.
Now, another quality the article mentions that I think is super powerful is this idea of having a purpose.
This is so important. It's about having something that drives you, that gives your life meaning beyond just existing.
Yeah. I find that so attractive in people.
It's like their passion rubs off on you.
It does, and it doesn't have to be anything huge. It could be a hobby,
Yeah.
a cause you support your work.
Exactly, as long as you're passionate about it.
It's about having that drive, that sense of direction.
Absolutely, and that energy is attractive because it shows you're really living your life.
Not just going through the motions.
Exactly. It shows you have depth, you're growing, you're making a difference.
And I think that's especially appealing to younger women who are still finding their own path.
It's like you become a source of inspiration, showing them what's possible.
We've covered so much in this second part of our deep dive.
We have.
And it's clear that attraction is way more than just one thing.
Absolutely. It's all these different factors that come together to create that spark.
And what's fascinating is that a lot of these qualities, like emotional intelligence, patience, resilience, purpose, they often come with experience.
They do. It's not about being born with them. It's about developing them over time as you face challenges and learn from your experiences.
It's like aging becomes an advantage.
In a way, it is. It's about refining yourself, growing, and becoming the best version of you.
That's a great message.
It is. It's about embracing the journey, realizing the value of what you've been through, and continuing to evolve.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
It has.
And I feel like we've only just begun to explore this.
There's always more to discover, and in our last segment, we'll bring it all together and talk about how to actually use these insights in your life.
So stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It has so many fascinating insights about attraction.
And I think one of the biggest takeaways for me is that so many of these qualities we've talked about, they actually get better with time.
Exactly. It's not about trying to be young again or competing with guys who are younger.
Right.
It's about realizing what you bring to the table as a mature and experienced man.
You know, that idea of contagious confidence really stuck with me.
It's a powerful idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
It shows us that confidence isn't just how we feel inside, but the energy we project outwards.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that when you're around someone who's really confident, it makes you feel more comfortable too.
There's actually a psychological term for that. It's called emotional contagion.
Oh, wow.
Basically, we unconsciously mirror the emotions of people around us.
So if someone's calm and collected, you're more likely to feel that way too.
Exactly. And that feeling of calmness can be really attractive, especially these days when everything feels so hectic.
That makes sense. Now, another thing we talked about that I wanted to touch on again is honesty.
Honesty is so important. It's the foundation of any strong relationship.
Yeah, it's about being upfront about everything, what you want, what you expect.
No games, no mixed signals, just clear communication.
Right. That's how you build trust.
Exactly. And sometimes honesty means having those tough conversations, facing those issues head on.
Which takes courage.
It does. And emotional maturity.
Yeah, being able to have those hard talks without getting defensive.
Exactly. And that's something that often comes with experience as you navigate more relationships and challenges in life.
Speaking of emotional maturity, what are your thoughts on the article's emphasis on leadership as an attractive quality?
It's key to remember that leadership in this sense isn't about being dominant or controlling. It's about having a sense of direction, being decisive, and taking responsibility for your actions.
So it's more about having a vision and being able to guide and support others in a confident and caring way?
Exactly. And those qualities can be really attractive because they show strength, stability, and reliability.
It's about being someone people can count on.
Exactly. Someone who can handle whatever comes their way. And that brings us to another quality that's often overlooked: patience.
Oh yeah, patience.
In a world that's obsessed with instant gratification, patience is like a superpower.
It's true, we all want things right now.
But the article makes a strong case for patience as a really attractive trait, especially for women who might be used to guys who are more impulsive.
So it's about being present and letting things unfold naturally.
Exactly. Understanding that good things take time.
It shows you're not easily rattled.
Right. That you're willing to wait and put in the effort to build something meaningful.
And that can be really reassuring for someone who's looking for a stable and lasting connection.
Absolutely. It creates that sense of safety and security.
Now let's talk about another quality the article highlights that I think is super important: having a sense of purpose.
I love this one. There's something so magnetic about people who are passionate about something.
It doesn't matter what it is as long as it lights them up.
Right. It's about having something that drives you, something that gives your life meaning.
That gets you out of bed in the morning.
Exactly. It could be your career, your art, a cause you believe in, anything that you truly care about.
And that energy is so attractive because it shows you're fully engaged in life.
You're not just going through the motions, you're growing. learning, making a difference.
And I think that can be especially inspiring for women who are still finding their own path.
It shows them what's possible.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to touch on one last point that I think is crucial: understanding and embracing your own value.
This is so important. So many men, especially as they get older, start to doubt themselves.
It's like they forget how much they have to offer.
They compare themselves to others, focus on their flaws, and lose sight of their strength.
And that self-doubt can be so damaging.
It can. If you don't believe in yourself, it's hard for anyone else to believe in you either.
So how do we combat that? How do we cultivate self-worth, especially as we age?
It starts with recognizing that your value is inherent. It doesn't depend on your age, your looks, your achievements, or what anyone else thinks.
Right.
It's about knowing your strengths, appreciating your experiences, and accepting who you are completely.
And surrounding yourself with people who see your worth and support you.
Absolutely. Remember, you deserve love, connection, and happiness no matter how old you are.
Well said. This has been such an insightful and empowering conversation. I feel like I've learned so much about attraction.
Me too. And I hope our listeners have gained some valuable insights as well.
So to everyone listening, we encourage you to think about what you've heard today and how it applies to your life. What qualities do you find attractive in a partner? And how can you cultivate those qualities within yourself?
Remember, attraction is a complex thing. But by focusing on personal growth, embracing who you are, and believing in yourself, you can become the most attractive version of yourself inside and out.
That's a great message to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.